Do you want to improve your effectiveness in the paint? Because you're missing bunnies you know you should hit and or throwing up prayers consistently. With this video, I'm going to give you a tutorial on some of the new things about attacking the rim in 2K21, how to do them, and 3 tips to help prevent you from trying to dunk on 3 defenders every time up the court in NBA 2K21 on current and next gen consoles. So alright, let's get it.
Throws it down!
First off, one of the huge differences between current and next gen is layup timing, as it was reduced on current gen to not really having an effect because of how difficult it was. And on next gen, layup timing with the shot button has been disabled by default to allow gamers to focus on simply weaving through defenders and get up as open of a shot as you can. But next gen gamers are given the option to have a huge advantage on the competition by enabling layup timing or aiming in the settings menu to receive a huge boost against the competition finishing in the paint if you land your meter in the window. But if you miss the window, expect to finish in the paint like Lonzo Ball instead of getting bailed out. So it's extremely important to locate the window and the middle point as fast as possible to then align the tick inside it to finish among the trees. Next is we now have the ability to change your shot arc on next gen, which is right stick specific. Moving the right stick slowly while attempting a shot will cause you to attempt a higher arcing shot, and moving the right stick quickly will cause you to attempt a flatter shot. And I'll discuss the type of shots that can benefit from arc control later in the vid. Now the moves you will need to know to finish. First off, we'll start with the normal layup. To perform this, you hold the right stick up while driving and the ball handler will take it straight up. You mainly only want to use this when the lane is wide open and the ball handler you're controlling is a struggle dunker. You do want to avoid situations where you use normal layups when the defender is on your hip or a defender is waiting in the paint. Because the biggest con of using a normal layup is once you activate it, you're going straight up, making it super easy to contest or block a shot. Which is why I stress you only want to do this when you're wide open, because if a defender comes out of nowhere, you have to hope 2K lets you throw an accurate jump pass. On next gen though, they do a great job of improving layup selection to select the most open spot to lay it up relative to the closest defender, so you will have that working for you if a defender comes out of nowhere that you didn't expect. Next is performing runners and floaters, and you do this by holding the right stick down once you cross the free throw line. If you're not LeBron James or Giannis type, this is one of your main weapons against a big parked in the lane, as the whole purpose of the shot is to quickly launch it over the much taller defender's head. Once you're about 1 or 2 steps away from the big is when you want to unleash it. You don't look to do this, it just happens. But again, because the purpose of the shot is to lob it over the big, this is when you want to take advantage of the fact that you can change the arc on your shot on next gen. So you want to slowly flick the right stick down when you do it to give it as high of an arc as possible. Now let's go over reverse layups. To do so, you point the right stick towards your back while driving baseline. So if you're driving from the left, aim the right stick left, and driving right, aim it right. Important to note, you have to be coming directly from the side or else you will perform a left or right layup. This is another type of shot that benefits from having a high arc. This move's purpose is to use the rim to avoid getting your shot punched by a defender in the paint or a defender riding your hip while lessening the contest percentage, while also having the benefit of throwing the defender's timing off when you go up, not expecting you to come out of the other side. And let's be real, the fact that it will force you out the other side no matter if the defender is there or not is a nice bonus. Now for the reverse dunk. Now, not everybody can reverse dunk. One way to see if your player has it in their dunk package is to go into practice mode and try reverse layup while holding right trigger. If he continues to lay it up, he probably can't do it. Or you can go into the roster screen and check the player's signature dunks. And if he has a reverse dunk in his package, you're good to go. And if your player can do a reverse dunk, it's a huge advantage on the court. Next, we got the Euro step. And to activate it, you let go of turbo and then you aim. They changed it this year, but yeah, you aim the right stick directly to the left or right, whichever side the ball is not in. If done correctly, your ball handler will fake to his ball hand side and bring the ball back the other way. It's a weapon to weave your ball handler through traffic when the defensive big is not directly under the basket. Or in general, when you're about to be picked up by a defender before you make it to the hoop and he's the last line of defense. It's also a sneaky way to throw the timing of trailing defenders off when they expect you to go straight up with your shot. Now let's go over the cradle layup. And to perform it, make sure you're not holding turbo and aim the right stick directly to the left or right towards your ball hand. Cradle is best used when driving and a help defender around the perimeter is looking to creep in and steal the ball. So by performing a cradle layup, the ball handler simply cradles the ball through traffic and goes up for a shot. This is more reserved for the stronger finishers who don't have as clear of a lane as you would like to finish. You also don't want to just bust this out when the defender is already in the paint waiting for you, as it will be easy to time and block it. Next up is a hop gather, and to achieve this you hold the right stick down and to the left or down and to the right of the side the ball is not in, and you will finish your hop in that direction. Attempting this move at first, you may end up doing Euro steps by accident because you didn't aim the right stick down far enough. And if that occurs, just start trying to aim straight down, but off to the side a bit to play it safe. What makes the hop step a great move is the options you have using it. And it starts with the fact you don't automatically go up for a shot while performing it. You can if you want by holding the right stick the whole way, and you can cancel your shot after hopping by letting go right before the player lands. Now this could give you extra time to survey the defense to see if anybody's sunk inside the paint while threatening the rim at the same time. But hop stepping isn't the same in 2K21 as it was in 2K20, as this move was nerfed a bit, as now this will often happen to you if you spam it blindly instead of using it at the correct times. You first must know when the hop step isn't available to you to avoid losing the ball. And the two most common ones are when a defender is already in the paint near the rim, and when a defender is riding your hip. This one got a lot of people a lot of buckets last year. So now 2K won't let you warp through their bodies to freedom, so you must adjust. So you're only able to pull it off when you have clearly beaten the defender, and by performing a hop step here, you can actually essentially jump in front of them, blocking their path. And when the defender is near the paint but not directly under the rim, as the hop step can weave you through traffic into the paint, past the defender while throwing the timing of the shot blocker all off. Most of the time defenders are right there ready to wreck your stuff, so you have to use deception to get a clean shot off a lot of the time, and the hop step can do that. Next is the spin gather, which you pull off by holding the right trigger and double tap square or X on your controller. To continue into a shot, you hold the X or square button all the way through on the second tap, and let go on the second tap to avoid going up for the shot. This works similar to the Euro step where you don't have to go up right away performing this move, and you have time to react to what the defense does in response. And this move is reserved to be overly aggressive defenders who try and cut your initial path off, so you can spin around them the other way. Now let's talk about dunking. First we got the two-hand dunk, and you trigger this by holding the right trigger and aim up on the right stick. Majority of two-hand dunk animations will start closer to the rim opposed to the next type I'm going to mention, which will be the dominant or offhand dunk. As a rule of thumb, dominant or offhand dunks allow you to trigger your dunk from further away. And you do so by holding the right trigger and aim the right stick up and to the left or up and to the right. This one you may want to even jump into practice mode for and find out the optimal dunk your player has that takes the least amount of time from hitting the button to actually putting the ball in the rim. As a random example, a right-handed dunk by Miles Bridges coming from the left side of the court could be much faster than a right-handed dunk from the right. Test it out. And lastly, we have flashy dunks, which you mainly want to do on fast breaks. And you trigger these by holding the right trigger and aiming down on the right stick. Now I'm going to talk about transitioning from gathers into dunks, which I'm sure a lot of you new to 2K found out about by not letting go of turbo. But introduced in 2K19 and has been built upon, gathers can be combined into different finishes, including being able to transition into dunks, which you can do by holding the right trigger while activating any of the different gathers I have went over. Now, some of the ways to improve your scoring ability in the paint, or whenever the defense has nobody parked in the paint, is when you want to be at your most aggressive challenge in the defense. Since they obviously have nobody near the paint, you only have one man to beat to get a shot off. As a Sixers fan, I've always noticed Ben Simmons turns on the burners whenever he notices nobody's in the paint. Next, you're going to have to hold off on sprint until it's necessary to use to give you the best chance of scoring. Not sprinting doesn't mean you're going slow. It just means you have more time to survey the court to check defenders and if people are open. And lastly, take advantage of the space the big could give you in the mid-range if they're parked directly under the hoop. So pull up for a wide open jumper, or against users, test their patience by doing stuff like I just went over, slowing down a bit to see what they're gonna do. And you'd be surprised, sometimes they will simply move out of the way for you. And with that, I hope this video was able to help you guys out new to the 2K series, and for those who struggle in the paint and want driving to be less of an adventure. And if you liked the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button so you don't miss anything we put out. All right, people, I'm Chris from Sports Gamers Online. Thank you all for watching, and be good, y'all.